this feeling inside my bones. It goes electric wavy when I turn it on. All through my city, all through my home. We're flying up, no ceiling when we in our zone. I got that sunshine in my pocket, got that good soul in my feet. I feel that hot blood in my body when it drops. Ooh, I can't take my eyes off of it, moving so phenomenally. You're more like the way we rock it, so don't stop. And under the lights when everything goes, nowhere to hide when I'm getting you close. When we move, well, you already know. So just imagine. Nothing I can see but you when you dance, dance, dance. Feel good, good creeping up on you. So just dance, dance, dance. Come on. All those things I shouldn't do, but you dance, dance, dance. And ain't nobody leaving soon, so keep dancing. I can't stop the feeling. So just dance, dance, dance. I can't stop the feeling. So just dance, dance, dance. Come on. Ooh, it's something magical. It's in the air, it's in my blood, it's rushing on. I don't need no reason, don't need control. I fly so high, no ceiling when I'm in my zone. Cause I got that sunshine in my pocket, got that good soul in my feet. I feel that hot blood in my body when it drops. Ooh, I can't take my eyes off of it, moving so phenomenally. You're more like the way we rock it, so don't stop. Under the lights when everything goes, nowhere to hide when I'm getting you close. When we move, well, you already know. So just imagine. Nothing I can see but you when you dance, dance, dance. Feel good, good creeping up on you. So just dance, dance, dance. Come on. All those things I shouldn't do, but you dance, dance, dance. And ain't nobody leaving soon, so keep dancing. I can't stop the feeling. So just dance, dance, dance. So just dance, dance, dance. Stop the feeling. So just dance, dance, dance. I can't stop the feeling. Yeah. So keep dancing. Oh, yeah, yeah. I can't stop the. 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 Nothing I can see but you when you dance, dance, dance. Feel good, good creeping up on you. So just dance, dance, dance. Come on. All those things I shouldn't do, but you dance, dance, dance. And ain't nobody leaving soon, so keep dancing. Everybody say. I can't stop the feeling. Oh, no, I can't stop the feeling. I can't stop the feeling in my body. Break it down. Got this feeling in my body. Can't stop the feeling. Got this feeling in my body. Come on.
Just a young gun with a quick fuse. I was uptight, wanna let loose. I was dreaming of bigger things and wanna leave my old life behind. Not a yes sir, not a follower. Fit the box, fit the mold, have a seat in the foyer. Take a number. I was lightning before the thunder.
Thunder, 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 thunder,
Thunder, feel the thunder. Lightning and the thunder. Thunder, feel the thunder. Lightning and the thunder. Thunder, thunder. Thunder. Kids were laughing in my classes while I was scheming for the masses. Who do you think you are? Dreaming about being a big star. They say you're basic, they say you're easy. You're always riding in the backseat. Now I'm smiling from the stage while you were clapping. thunder, feel the thunder. Lightning and the thunder, 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 feel the thunder. Lightning and the thunder, 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 feel the thunder. Lightning and the thunder, 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 feel the thunder. Lightning and the thunder, 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 feel the thunder. Lightning and the thunder, thunder. Return to the Mac, get it what it is, what it does, what it is, what it isn't. Looking for a better way to get up out of bed instead of getting on the internet and checking a new hit. Me get up, first shot, come strut walking. A little bit of humble, a little bit of cautious. Somewhere between like Rocky and Cosby's for the game. Nope, nope, y'all can't copy yet. Bad moonwalking, and this here is our party. My posse's been on Broadway, and we did it all way. Chrome music, I shed my skin and put my bones into everything I record to it. And yeah, I'm on. Let that stage light go and shine on down. Got that Bob Barker suit game and Plinko in my style. Money, stay on my craft and stick around for those pounds. But I do that to pass the torch and put on for my town. Trust me, on my INDEPENDENT shit hustling. Chasing dreams since I was 14 with the 4-track bustin'. Halfway across that city with the back crush shit. Labels out here, now they can't tell me nothing. We give that to the people, spread it across the country. Labels out here, now they can't tell me nothing. We give it to the people, spread it across the country.
Here we go back, this is the moment, tonight is the night. We'll fight till it's over, so we put our hands up like the ceiling can't hold us. Like the ceiling can't hold us. Here we go back, this is the moment, tonight is the night. We'll fight till it's over, so we put our hands up like the ceiling can't hold us. Like the ceiling can't hold us.
Nah, can I kick it? Thank you, yeah. I'm so damn grateful. I grew up really wanna go fronts, but that's what you get when Wu-Tang raised you. Y'all can't stop me. Go hard like I got an 808 in my heartbeat. And I'm eating at the beat like you gave a little speed to a great white shark on shark week. Raw, time to go off, gone. Deuces goodbye. I got a world to see. And my girl, she wanna see Rome. Caesar make you a believer. Nah, I never ever did it for a throne. That validation comes from giving it back to the people. Now sing this song and it goes like, raise those hands. This is our party. We came here to live life like nobody was watching. I got my city right behind me. If I fall, they got me. Learn from that failure, gain humility, and then we keep marching.
Can we go back? This is the moment, tonight is the night. We'll fight till it's over, so we put our hands up like the ceiling can't hold us. Like the ceiling can't hold us. Go back, this is the moment, tonight is the night. We'll fight till it's over, so we put our hands up like the ceiling can't hold us. Like the ceiling can't hold us.
But so we put our hands up.
Hey, Justice.
Hey, what's going on, Vanessa?
Not much, not much. Good to see you.
Likewise, likewise.
All right. It is 1 p.m. and it looks like we have about 30 people on with us. Super excited to have all of you here today to learn more about the National Student Leadership Congress program and also the application process overview. So before we begin, before we do all the introductions and all that kind of stuff, we want to get to know who you are. So I'm going to launch a poll. And it's simply going to ask, has your program sent students in the past? And then have you ever served as an NSLC counselor? So here it goes. You should see it on your screen right now. Perfect. I thought these would be two good questions to know before, we jumped in, right? All right, so we have, has your program sent students in the past? About 52% or 13 people saying yes, 28% or 7 people saying no. Some people are unsure, which happens because, a lot of new TRIO people come in and that history isn't left. So thank you all so much for partaking in that. Have you ever served as an NSLC counselor? We have somebody on here that has. Go ahead and drop your name into the chat for us, so that way we know who's on here that has been an NSLC counselor before. And then the majority of people say no. That's pretty awesome. Thank you for partaking in that. Okay. So who am I? My name is Vanessa Ramirez, and I'm the Assistant Director for the Program and Professional Development Division here at the Council for Opportunity and Education. This year, I have been handed the reins to lead the project for National Student Leadership Congress. In the past, I have also been an NSLC counselor. Can't remember the years. There's 2 years that I did it. Seems like a long time ago, but was not that long ago. But that's a little bit about who I am. Justice?
Hey, welcome TRIO community, new and returning. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to be with us in here, community. My name is Justice Lopez. I'm a consultant for COE, assist with alumni relations and strategic projects. Last year, I assisted with NSLC as a project lead. So happy to be here in this space and supporting. As you see over here on the right side, Vanessa dropped our information on the chat box. So if you have any questions at all, feel free to follow up with an email and happy to be a part of the program here in this space.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Justice. So today's agenda is pretty robust. We only have about an hour to get through everything. So like Justice said, if we go too fast and you have additional questions, we do have time at the end for questions, but please do email us or call us. We're also setting up times to talk on the phone about stuff in more detail. So this is going to be our agenda for today. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump in. Okay, so why NSLC, or what is NSLC? Why should you send your students to the National Student Leadership Congress? So at this program, or in this program, 180 TRIO pre-college students from across the US and US territories will be selected in order to find innovative solutions to today's societal issues. That is their biggest goal. And that is done through a project that they do within their small groups. And so you'll see on the agenda how that's mapped out. But selected students, like I said, will serve as members of the Congress and during the online 5-day leadership experience for first generation high school students. It's an opportunity for selected students to also establish a national network. So just like we are able to as TRIO professionals, they will be given the opportunity to establish their own national network of emerging leaders from across the United States and US territories. It's an opportunity to develop service-oriented leaders, empowered and skilled to serve their communities and their nation. It's also an opportunity to help increase understanding on national issues affecting their future and our future. And then an appreciation for fellow TRIO students' experiences from across the United States and US territories. And we'll talk a little bit more about that in a bit. So what is like the objective of the program? We want the students to be introduced to elements of effective leadership. So through their small groups, they'll be learning this, and then also through general sessions as well. We want them to participate in a simulated Congress challenge where students will develop a bill providing solutions to current issues. And so that is, like I said, the biggest part of this program is learning how to develop these bills in order to be solution-based. Participate in interactive learning labs, virtually visit historical and cultural sites in Washington, DC, virtually meet with college representatives, and you'll see on the agenda how we're going to do that, and then participate in sessions with policymakers and TRIO alumni. Our learning outcomes, what we hope the students walk away with is an increased awareness in their leadership potential, enhanced leadership skills in decision-making, planning and goal setting, conflict resolution and negotiating, greater knowledge of the role of individuals and alliances in shaping national priorities and career opportunities in government, public service and education, and an increased understanding and the responsibilities of citizenship through service. So I think the biggest one for me, the biggest takeaway is the enhanced leadership skills in decision-making, planning and goal setting, conflict resolution and negotiating. As a former counselor for this program, it's very neat to see the students come together and take a side on an issue and kind of work through their differing views and then providing a bill to find a solution to the hot topic. So that one is always really exciting to see develop within the student groups. So the agenda, just a little heads up, this is a virtual program, okay, and it does run from June 14th through the 18th of 2021. Students are expected to participate in the entire program. So they need to be there from the start on day 1 all the way to the end of day 2. We understand that some students may be working or have other obligations, but in order for them to participate in this program and really get the benefit of those student learning objectives and also the learning outcomes is for them to participate the entire time. It also helps with group work that they have to participate in. So before nominating a student, please ensure that they can commit to that. We do have the program set between the hours of 11 a.m. and 5 p.m. Eastern time in order to accommodate most of the students. And we have short 15-minute breaks currently scheduled throughout the program. This is a tentative agenda, but we're hoping to keep them at least 15 to 20-minute breaks between all the different events. So the first day, you'll see that we are going to welcome them, break them into their small groups, introduce them to government and the different areas of government. Then we'll introduce them to Simulated Congress, the Simulated Congress Challenge and their topics. Each group will have their own topic to develop a bill on. And these are hot topics that are going on right now in our environment. They'll be given the opportunity to start working on their Simulated Congress Challenge immediately, and then they'll have end of day remarks. Second day is very transformational with that keynote speaker. For those that have sent students in the past, you know that this session is very transformational and it helps the students get to know each other. Oh, I'm sorry, it's not changing. Sorry about that. So that's day 1. And then we'll go ahead and go to day 2. So the keynote speaker is a very transformational moment. We're actually considering right now giving a little bit more time to that keynote speaker to make sure that they have enough time with the students. They'll jump right back into their Simulated Congress Challenge working groups. There'll be some icebreakers because of the experience with the keynote speaker. And then they'll jump back into their Simulated Congress Challenge. They'll be taking some virtual field trips of the DC area. I know last year Justice organized some college visits. He organized some tours of the monuments and the Capitol and all that kind of stuff. So we're hoping to continue to develop that and provide a robust schedule for them. They'll have the end of day remarks, and then they'll be done by 4:30 on that day. So as you can see, they're ending about by the time of 4:30. I think there's only one day that actually goes to 5 p.m. And it might be the next day that we have on the screen after this. But the Wednesday, again, doing some what are they called, sessions together, and then breaking down into their working groups, their Simulated Congress working groups. So the selective college panel is going to be put on by varying college access professionals, where they'll be able to ask them specific questions. And then also on the next day, there will be a college fair. And so the students will actually be able to meet with representatives from varying colleges from across the United States to talk about admissions, financial aid, all the differing parts, and we'll have activities for them to complete during this time. This is really cool because I know that in person, they get to experience the Georgetown University, and they get to experience what it's like walking on the campus. But this is what we're hoping to provide this next year. And I know that did you guys do it last year, Justice? No? Yes?
We did a college tour online, and then we had like the fair, not similar to like the panelists.
Okay.
So this will be some new opportunities this year.
Cool. So our team is working on getting at least 40 plus universities that can be represented here at this fair. And some really neat things that could happen. I know that one of the girls while we were in person, one of the girls that was a participant actually decided to attend Georgetown and receive some full scholarships. So those connections that are made during these college fairs are pretty exciting. Again, some simulated Congress challenge working time, but just a lot of time working with the simulated Congress challenge. And then an alumni leadership panel. I totally skipped that one. An alumni leadership panel, which got a lot of really good remarks from last year. And it's tying in the why I get into good trouble, the theme for the annual conference. So we're trying to pull everything in together. On Friday, the last day, this is when the students present their bills to the various groups. And so they present their bills. Everyone gets to vote at the end of everyone presenting. So they all get to vote about, whose was most persuasive. They take a small break. We announce the voting results. They have a closing ceremony, and then they get back into their small groups for their individual closing. So that would be the end of the program there. Justice?
So as you can see, everybody, Vanessa outlined a pretty robust program. We're trying the best we can to provide some great opportunities. And there's some really, really cool opportunities there for our TRIO students to really take place in. And this section and component of the presentation, we really want to focus on student eligibility. And we really want to talk about who we want to see take part and experience this great, phenomenal, transformational program. So we're looking for students who are currently TRIO pre-college program, Upward Bound Math and Science, or Talent Search. So this is specifically geared towards pre-college programs. We're looking for students who have a 3.0 cumulative GPA or higher. And we'll discuss why that's an aspect to it in regards to the selection process. But if there is a student who you think is a great leader, who may be, applicable and benefit from this program, we could discuss that. We're looking for folks a part of the graduating class of 2022 or 2023. So correct me if I'm wrong, Vanessa, but that's rising juniors and seniors that we're looking for in this particular program. And as we know, navigating this particular online platform, we are looking for access to a computer and internet for the entirety of the program, June 14th through 18th. So I know we've been navigating what that looks like on this new online platform, but this particular program does need access to that.
So part of the application also asks if you as a director or if you as a program would be supporting the student with a computer and or internet for the duration of the program. So even if the student doesn't have a computer or internet, we are looking to the program and the program directors to say whether or not they will be providing that. And then ideally, it wasn't put on the application, but ideally if they can also have a camera. So that way they can engage with the other students on camera.
So when we're thinking about this student and profile, right, we're looking for students who have an open mind. They're going to be interacting with students from across the country, from a variety of different geographical regions and places and spaces and perspectives. So having that open mind is really, really critical to allowing a student to get the best experience from here. We're looking for a student who is mature. We're going to be talking about issues that are incredibly important right now that we're navigating in this current context and climate. And we are looking for students to express a particular sensitivity around that and come to the table to be able to have those conversations. We're looking for students who are determined, who want to learn something new, who want to take on a new project, who want to meet and develop leadership skills and capabilities, and who are ambitious. Some students who may have an interest in politics and civic engagement. As Vanessa had mentioned, one of the previous students had a transformational experience and ended up going to Georgetown, but we've had a multitude of other students who've actually engaged in this particular program and then have used this as a way to be inspired, whether that's to get involved locally in like class presidency or in the national and or statewide region. So, if you see a student who has that capability and skill, you say, you know what, this is a person who really has some potential leadership skills on a local or statewide or national level. We want that student to participate in this program. And the unsung heroes, y'all, this is a particular point I really, really want to make, right? We are looking for those students who are the diamonds in the roughs, who have the capability to be a leader, but may not have that formal leadership position or may have never been recognized. Those are the kind of students that we want to invite into this program, because we know that the national network that they will receive from this program is something that will inspire them, that will push them, that will encourage them. As Vanessa had mentioned before, she talked about some of the objectives and goals. I mean, something that these students walk away with is a national network that they've never had before of student leaders from across the country, not only just the continental United States, but we're talking about the transcontinental United States. We've had students from Guam participate in this program as well. So we're looking for students who are those unsung heroes to participate in this program that we know would get the benefit from it. And as I mentioned before, students who do not meet the GPA requirement that you think would benefit from this program, please contact Vanessa, and we can make sure that we look at the holistic student when we are making the decision as to who would benefit most from this program. And as we look at the cost to participate, we're looking at the registration fee for this year is going to be $350 for a student. And we're looking for that, and it must be received by May 24th, 2021. This is a significant decrease from the previous years and the cost of that. And we're looking to really make this an affordable program that really maximizes students' experience. And what you will get in that cost, that will cover the cost of registration fees, admission into the program, the phenomenal workshops and activities, a Superfly t-shirt, memorabilia, snacks, and a beautiful certificate of completion that you can paste on your wall and look at for all the great accomplishments that you've been doing. We're talking about registration fees are an allowable cost of this expense. We can look more specifically into that with OMB section 200, 405 for allowable costs there. And if that's an issue in any way, shape, or form, just reach out to Vanessa or I. So I briefly want to talk about the student application process and what that looks like to ensure that the students in your program are able to apply in a timely manner, and we can review their application and their process. So we're looking for the completed student application to be completed by March 26th by midnight. So we're looking about a month's time frame from today to get those materials into us. And that link is there. We can showcase that link in the chat as well if you want to see what that looks like, and you can explore that and peruse that on your own. That's Eastern time. When we do go through that application process and you do click that link, we're asking that you create an account to save your application and return to it later, just because it does ask for a variety of information, your information, some student information, etc. So just to create an account to help minimize and expedite that time process. When you do fill out the application process, it's going to ask for some supportive materials. That supportive material is related around a statement of purpose. We're not looking for a full expansive essay. We're looking for a short, concise, max 250 words. Why do you want to participate in the NSLC program, and what do you hope to gain from participating? That statement of purpose is submitted by the student, right? So we're going to have the student write that, and you'll submit that on behalf of the student. So make sure that that's something that you discuss with whoever you're nominating. Why do you think they would benefit from that program? We're looking for a letter of recommendation that is from a sponsoring TRIO program or director, and that could be from the program that is of applying for. And then we are also asking for some signed consent forms, which essentially is a student agreement just outlining to you agreeing to the norms of the program, fully participating in the program, etc. if you are selected, and then a photo consent and release form because there will be pictures taken of the event and the event will be recorded. So just making sure that we have that consent, everything full-fledged before the application process is fully completed there.
Yeah, and for those that have sent students in the past, one thing that has changed for the registration process is you are no longer going to be entering students like 4 at a time or 5 at a time. It is entering students 1 at a time, so that way we have each student on one line item when we export the data. And so it does, when you're filling out the application, it does look like from the viewpoint of the student. So if you feel comfortable with the student completing this on their own, it's totally set up for them to, you know, enter in all this information on their own as well. They just need your permission to do so because the $350 registration fee.
So to build on what we were talking about with the student application process, as Vanessa had mentioned, ensuring that there's permission from the student's parent and guardian and sponsoring TRIO program. The director is required to be selected and to participate. So you can share that NSLC brochure with them to make sure that they're aware about all aspects. And then all students, parents, and guardians and TRIO program directors will be notified of their acceptance if they were placed on a wait list by April 27th. So we'll make sure that that is delivered in a timely manner. And we have a question from Jackie Lee. Is it an application? So we'll go to the questions too as well. Completed by April 27th. And we're looking for a mandatory student parent guardian TRIO program director orientation for selected students. And that will be on May 19th, 2021, 7:30 p.m. Eastern time. So that's really important. That orientation process, just so everybody's on the same page, so they know what to expect, so that parents and guardians can be in the loop, in the fold. Because this is an online program and it primarily will be taking place at the residency or wherever the students have access to internet, it is super important that all individuals are involved in this process to ensure that the student just has the best experience possible, right? Teamwork makes the dream work, and it does take a village to ensure that we have these experiences that benefit our students. And in an effort to provide participants the opportunity to immerse themselves in this leadership experience, only 4 students per institution will be accepted. We're looking at that purely from the perspective of equity. We want to make sure that folks from the East Coast to the West Coast to the Midwest have an opportunity to participate in this. So we are limiting 4 students per institution there. I don't know if you want to take any questions now or at the end, Vanessa, but let me know what kind of flow and I'll segue and transition into student testimonials.
Yeah, let's go ahead and do the
and
questions
after.
at the end, just so we make sure we get through all the information, and then we can open it up
Sounds
to
great.
questions. Mhm.
Perfect. So I just want to briefly just talk about some student testimonials here and student experiences in relation to last year's program. Last year's program was the first time that we had pivoted to the online platform and entirely took NSLC online. And students really enjoyed it, right? So here's a quick student testimonial from Marina from Guam. So Marina actually like woke up in the middle of the night. Like I got so much love and respect for like, shout out to the Guam program. If the Guam program's here on this call right now, like shout out to y'all, because she woke up in the middle of the night. I'm talking about like 2 o'clock in the morning to participate in this program. So shout out to like that dedication, right? Like that just straight up just is phenomenal. To show
That girl's
type of
going places.
yeah, like straight up, right? So her quick testimonial is, look, despite the differing time zones across the nation, the group Mighty Minds had no problem putting forth a collaborative team effort alongside big smiles. From the Marian Islands, Guam, to the Western, Central, and Eastern Coast, each group member was ready to discuss the contentious issues paired with meaningful solutions. No time zone or obstacle could get in the way of group Mighty Minds. Shout out to Marina showing that love there. And just another one that we wanted to showcase as well. Shout out to Connecticut in the building. Michaela, she was actually a part of the winning group, and their winning group. So each student, as we know before, they have a particular topic that they have to cover. And this year's topic that won was should a national vaccine be implemented? And that was a conversation that they were having around COVID-19, et cetera. So Michaela's group actually did take the win on that one. And she just talks about the many things that she loved about NSLC, the speakers, congressional staff, speaking in front of over 100 people. But her favorite part was working with students from all over the US, as I mentioned before, having the opportunity to make friends. They make their own group chats on Facebook and on Instagram and on WhatsApp, and they continue these conversations, not only just from, this week experience, but they continue that. And they keep each other updated and they comment on each other's posts. So it really is a national type of network and community and family that students get from participating in this program. And shout out to Gustavo as well. California, West Stop in the building, showing some love there. So we got some testimonies from the East to the West Coast, from the islands. But shout out to Gustavo as well. I mean, he talks about during the summer program, he was upward bound and it was virtually, and he was struggling with navigating that space and attend classes, but he really enjoyed so many aspects as meeting people from all over the country and debating and researching, and so many aspects that students really, really took away from it. And he was actually able to meet his senator. So a really unique experience to be able to, meet with a congressional representative and talk with them was something truly transformational for some of these students, and really making the best of this program.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Justice. So the next part we wanted to cover is there's also an opportunity for counselors, so for TRIO staff to get involved with the NSLC program as a counselor. And so this would be your chance to facilitate a transformational experience for the students in your group. You would have about 10 to 15 students through the online 5-day leadership experience from various backgrounds. And so you'll see later that we are looking for counselors that can work with a diverse group, because these are students who are coming from cities, rural areas, differing views, point of views. And so we are looking for individuals who do have a diverse background, selected or working with diverse backgrounds. If you are selected as a counselor, we do a training on June 8th through the 11th. And so you will have to be available for the duration of that training and also the student programming. So just so you know before you apply. Additional counselor duties include participating in daily staff briefings, and that's where we go over, what worked today, what didn't work, what do we need to improve, are there any issues going on within the group? So we are constantly communicating as well throughout the program in order to make sure that the students are getting the best experience. So just a couple of more additional duties there. The counselor eligibility or profiles. So experience with working with high school students, that's very important considering that these are rising juniors and seniors. Experience coordinating student programming, because we are turning to the counselors for advice during the time. Yes, we have everything put in place, but if there's something that we can be doing better, we definitely want to be listening to the counselors. And clearance from a direct supervisor to participate, because it is going to take a large portion of your time. Since counselors work with minors, a background check will be conducted, and we are also asking that that we're flexible, right? In this program, a lot of things change. Situations happen and we have to shift. So we are looking for individuals that are flexible, that are a leader, they work well under pressure, and that they're responsible. Yes, we aren't in person and where we have to physically be, accountable for all these students, but it almost makes it a little bit harder in this virtual world to be making sure that your students are showing up, making sure that your students are okay, that they are understanding what is taking place, that after certain activities that they are, in a good, place to be able to continue forward with the programming. So that is the counselor eligibility and profile. So counselor application, similar to the student application, it's the same date. So March 26, 2021 by midnight. So again, we encourage you to create an account to save your application and return to it later. There are supporting materials that we are asking for. There's short answers, short question and answers that we're asking you. We're asking for your resume to see what work you have done, professional headshot, so that way we can know who you are. And so that way, if we do see you somewhere, we can ask more questions, or we can give you a phone call. We know who we're talking to. And then reference from direct supervisor. That's going to be really important. So even trio directors can apply to be counselors. That has happened in the past. And so we would just need your direct supervisor to provide a reference. And then selected counselors and directors will be informed by April 12th. And so you will know well in advance if you do need to block off those dates and times to be part of the training and the actual program. So just kind of going over the notification dates and processes. The student application is open, closes on the 26th of March. They will be notified on April 27th, whether they have been admitted or not. And then the student parent guardian program director orientation is on May 19th at 7:30 p.m. And this is the English one right now. On the application, we do ask what language is the primary language of their parents. And so if we need to provide another parent guardian presentation or orientation in another language, we will do our best to make that happen. The counselor application is open and it closes on March 26th. The notification date is the 12th. Commitment date that you all, if you're chosen to partake as a counselor, need to let us know by April 15th if you are in or out, because then if we need to go to the next person, then we will work down the list, or we'll have to go do a search. So we are providing a stipend in the amount of $500 in order to compensate the counselors during this time. And again, the staff training date for counselors is June 8th through the 11th. And then the NSLC program runs from June 14th through the 18th. So those are just some key dates and some key notification dates in our process. So that way you all can understand what that looks like. All right, we'll move over to questions now. So the first question is it an application, meaning could a student I refer not get selected if they meet all the requirements? So yes, Jackie, it is an application. So we are, again, hoping to admit students from all 50 states and US territories, and then hoping to not admit more than 4 people or 4 students per institution. Hope that answers your question. Casey, if your director runs 3 programs, is it possible for one of the coordinators to attend in place of the director? And I think that was in regards to the parent guardian orientation. If that is true, I am going to say yes. However, we do need that in writing if they are partaking on your behalf. Because the reason for that parent guardian director student orientation is to make sure that everyone is on the same page. So in the event of, let's just hope it doesn't happen, but it has happened in the past. So this is why we take these measures. Let's pretend like I am Justice's director and he is not showing up for the program. And then now, they're saying, well, we didn't know, right? Somebody needs to be accountable for that because we want to make sure everybody is notified of what is expected. And then also that we want to assure that everyone understands what the student is committing to during this time. So I hope that answers your question. Tabu, hopefully I'm saying your name correctly. Can we be a counselor if you are 100% on a UB grant? Yes, as long as it is okay with your director. Yes, you can be an NSLC counselor. What is the time commitment for counselors? Evening hours included. Yeah, so Amy, we are working out the training schedule as we speak. We have 2 people working on that right now. I believe we're trying to stay within the hours of 11 a.m. and 4 p.m. Eastern for the mandatory parts of the training. We are trying to work out some fun activities as well. Like usually when we're in person, we watch a movie together, we'll eat together, we'll do differing activities like that to build our own group and making sure that we all know each other and that we have something that will bond us. And so we're trying to provide something like that in the virtual world. Obviously, it probably won't be us eating together, it's, doing that kind of stuff, but, they've talked about, virtual escape rooms and stuff like that to kind of work together as a group to get to know each other. So I hope that answers your question. And as soon as we have that, like if you are selected, we do share that. We allow you to process, am I going to be able to commit to this? And then you'll let us know. Okay, the next question is the start date for the program final? Asking because our 2 schools will not let out until June 18th and 25th. Yes, so the program is set for the 14th, June 14th through the 18th. So I'm sorry. I don't know if that has happened in the past, Justice.
I'm not too sure in regards to that, but yeah, the dates are set in stone. So if there's any other programs potentially, or if to connect with other folks in the state, then that could be helpful.
Yeah, I don't know. Okay, we're getting a message from some COE staff that is saying that it actually happens a lot due to the various end dates. So, and the various end dates to high schools. And that concludes our questions that we have so far. Let's see, an idea for your team building. We had a virtual murder mystery program with our students in December and it was great. Robin, please send that over to me. That would be really cool to check out. And then I asked years ago about the dates. He told me there isn't a way to make the date for everyone happy. Yeah, that we're experiencing that with another program that we're trying to plan. And we're even in July and we're running into issues with dates. So it's very difficult. It's a very difficult decision to make. So any other questions? Let me make sure I get rid of all these that we've answered. Justice, anything else you want to share? We have about like 23 minutes.
Yeah, if there's no more like formal questions per se, etc. Thank you so much for the great ideas, Robin. That's awesome. And then the additional information, Jen and Jelly, in regards to the dates, etc. Yeah, just want to encourage folks to really just think about some unsung heroes and students to participate in the program, and really allow them the opportunity to be able to participate in this. As Vanessa had mentioned, I mean, the agenda is robust and it just provides some really cool opportunities, from like virtual tours of college campuses to even when we had the college panel. I mean, we had folks coming from a multitude of different institutions. I'm not sure who we're going to bring back this year, but I mean, we had Yale and UC San Diego and Vassar. I mean, we had some really great schools that, were really well represented, and students got to ask some really great questions, to some great programs and universities there. And they really enjoyed just building that community and having those discussions and those experiences. So if you all have any ideas around, some great activities, as Robin had mentioned, feel free to send those over to build a great experience for students.
Awesome. Any other questions? And you can raise your hand if you want to speak. We can unmute you as well. Are most of you who joined today looking to send students, apply to be a counselor, both? If you could put that in the chat box. Okay. Nice. Okay, so both, we see that, awesome. Cool, cool, cool. Yeah, being a counselor is a really great experience. I think you grow just as much as the students grow, if not more. So I would highly recommend the experience. It's life-changing, so really neat. And as you know, somebody who was a counselor in a program, to have my director's support to be able to do that was, incredibly helpful. So it's really awesome to see that. Heard about it through the COE newsletter and interested in what the experience would look like for them. Okay. Possibly both. Our program hasn't sent a student in a number of years, but given the virtual nature of this year's program, it offers a bit more access to our students way up in Maine. Yes. Before you had to pay for airfare, there was a lot of expenses with, housing the students, feeding the students. And so definitely a lot of expenses have been removed. And so that's why the registration fee is less. And so regardless, we're still trying to provide a robust agenda for them and give them that experience. So also one thing that I forgot to mention, due to the short 15-minute breaks, maybe we did say it, we are going to be providing the students with some snacks. And so to help alleviate that, the stress of like, what am I going to eat in these quick little breaks? So we'll be doing that as well. And then Jess or Jessie, do you have any more questions about the agenda? Maybe we can unmute you and allow you to, I'm going to promote or allow to talk. Here we go. Allow you to answer that question of, do you have any more questions about the agenda? Do we answer those? Or you can type it into the chat box. Okay, perfect.
I think Vivian had a question.
Okay, so how do we entice students to attend and participate, especially with online burnout? Justice, you want to take that one?
Yeah, Vivian, so we appreciate your question. And I think that's a really important question to be asking. Collectively, K through 12 and higher education, everybody's trying to navigate this new online normalcy when it comes to education, Zoom burnout, online burnout. And it's something that students, professors, college access professionals, directors, counselors, everybody's definitely trying to make sense of this space. And we hear you on that wholeheartedly. One way to help entice this is to showcase the uniqueness of this program. I mean, it is a national caliber program where there is a significant amount of opportunity for connection, for community, for programming, for meeting new people. And as we fully and wholeheartedly understand the impact, right? And we don't actually collectively across the country, we're still navigating what the impact of COVID-19 has had with online learning, et cetera. But we are most certainly doing our best to provide an online robust program that will have students enticed to come along.
Yeah, and Justice and I were talking about this earlier, and it's definitely something that we're all thinking about, that we're all considering. I think it's important, for us as leaders to continue to encourage students to participate in leadership experiences through this time. Because like Justice said, we don't know what that is going to look like in a few years from now, or what impact that's going to have. In the chat, Jen says, this is an absolute game changer for a student's college application and resume, also for their lives and the impact it will have. It's something that they need to see the higher value of and push beyond the Zoom burnout. My 2 cents. So thank you, Jen. I think whether it's virtual or in person, I think it's definitely a game changer for students' application and resume. I know my student that came to NSLC was able to, when she applied to Berkeley, they selected her, the college selected her for a international program. And so she spent her first semester in the UK over there, because they saw that she had experience working with others, not just those from her school or her community. And so that was really exciting. They paid her way. So NSLC is amazing, not just during the time that they're partaking, but then also what it can do for you afterwards, or for the students afterwards. How will you be providing the snacks, mailing them food boxes? Yeah, so along with the t-shirts and all the other goodies that they'll be getting, we will be mailing them some snacks. And so part of the application, we ask for a mailing address. That's very important that they get that right when filling out the application, because that is where we will be sending these items. Okay, let's see. How many years has this opportunity been available? So I believe we are on the 32nd, Justice, is that correct?
I believe so. It's either 32 or
Yeah.
yeah.
So we're on the 32nd Annual National Leadership Congress, and this year's theme is the challenge of change. So that's why in the agenda you see, you know, they're being introduced to government before going into their working groups. They have a keynote speaker then before going into their working groups. They have a workshop that is dedicated to going over the various components that are involved in the changing things, right? And the challenge of change. And so that's going to be a really neat workshop. And so that's kind of how we're tying in the theme this year, but it's been around for, this year will be 32 years. Let's see. Let's see. Hopefully we answered all the questions that came through the chat. Did I miss any, Justice?
I was just looking through there. It looks like we touched base on those, and just seeing some remarks in the chat in regards to folks asking questions, but also encouraging around their experiences.
Yeah. Is it Christine? Christine attended as a student. Can we unmute you, Christine, so that way you can kind of just talk a little bit? Let's see. Let me find her. There we go. Christine, if you feel comfortable sharing with the group your experience.
Yeah, sure. So yeah, my name is Christine. I was a student in Upward Bound many years ago, and now I'm running Upward Bound here in Hawaii. You know, when I went as a senior, I didn't know, or as a junior, sorry, I didn't know what I was really getting into. My director told me at the time, you should sign up for this. It's really cool. It's really fun. And I was very quiet, very sheltered, I guess you could say. And when I went up there, I felt out of place in the beginning because I was like, oh my gosh, I'm all the way from Hawaii. My knowledge about Congress and the different things is very limited. But by the end of the program, you know, I learned so much from, you know, of course, the staff, the people, the activities, but my fellow trio student classmates, you know, from across the country really helped me open up and shed a light on like looking at things in different perspectives, but also realizing that I'm not alone and that there are other people just like me, even though we all know that and we preach that to our students, being a student in that moment, feeling out of place, but coming to the realization that you are one of many that feel the same exact way. So it was a really great opportunity. And I share that with my students all the time now. And so this year, a lot of them are being discouraged because it is online. So I'm just trying to share with them, like, it's still a great opportunity for you to learn, for you to grow, and just have fun too. So yeah, it was a really great experience. And I'm thankful that I was able to participate in it many years ago.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing, Christine. And it's really neat that you were a student and now you are the director, you said?
I'm a coordinator for, we have 4 programs. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. I don't see any other questions coming through. Yes, Jen, Trio works. Perfect. Okay, so I guess if you all don't have any questions right now, please know that Justice and I are working really hard at making sure that this is going to be a great program and that we have representation from all 50 states and US territories. So in the event that you have questions later, there is our contact information through email, but we can always set up a time to jump on the phone. Even those in different time zones, we will make it work. We want to talk this through with you and make sure that your state or area has representation. So thank you all so much for being here. And that concludes our webinar. Thanks, Justice. And then Tabu, I'm looking forward to seeing your application as a counselor. All right, we'll see you later. Thank you.